I've never been someone with a lot of wild stories, nothing paranormal, nothing dramatic. But if someone ever asks me why I don't go near the boardwalk anymore, especially at night, this is the story I tell them. I was 16 when it started. I grew up in a small coastal town where everything revolved around the summer. From May to August, it was packed with tourists, neon lights, music spilling out of bars, and families crowding the boardwalk. But once Labor Day passed, the place transformed. Stores shuttered, restaurants locked their doors. The crowds vanished overnight. What remained was just ocean wind, empty planks, and locals who had learned to coexist with the quiet. Our house sat 3 streets inland, close enough that I could hear the waves on stormy nights. I'd lived there my entire life, which meant the boardwalk felt less like a tourist attraction and more like an extension of my neighborhood. I used to walk it constantly, sometimes during the day, sometimes late at night, especially late at night. I was on my school's track team, and running was my escape. When the town emptied out, the boardwalk became this long, uninterrupted stretch of wood where I could just think or not think at all. No cars, no people, just me and the sound of my shoes hitting the planks. I never brought my phone, didn't want distractions. That decision still feels stupid in hindsight. The first night something felt wrong was in late October. Cold enough that the ocean smelled sharper, heavier. The kind of cold that crawls through your clothes instead of sitting on your skin. I'd been running for maybe 20 minutes when I realized how quiet it was. Not peaceful quiet, empty quiet. Even the waves sounded distant, like they were being swallowed by fog. I slowed down near one of the stretches where the lights barely worked, long gaps of darkness broken by flickering yellow bulbs. That's when I noticed someone ahead of me. A figure standing near the railing. At first, I didn't think much of it. Locals walked the boardwalk at night, sometimes fishermen, insomniacs, people like me. But as I got closer, something felt off. They weren't leaning on the railing, weren't looking at the ocean, they were facing inland, facing me. They didn't move when I slowed, didn't turn their head, didn't acknowledge my presence at all. I passed them with maybe 6 feet of space between us. I didn't look directly at their face. I don't know why. Every instinct in my body screamed not to. Once I passed, I sped up. I told myself I was being dramatic. That is, until I heard footsteps behind me, not running, walking, matching my pace. I sped up again, so did the footsteps. I stopped suddenly and turned around. No one was there. The boardwalk behind me was completely empty. No place to hide, no turns, no stairwells nearby. Just open planks stretching into darkness. I finished my run early that night. I didn't tell anyone. I convinced myself it was nothing, but things like that have a way of piling up. A week later, I went back. Different night, earlier hour. I told myself fear only grows when you avoid it. That night, I brought my keys, no phone, still. Just keys and a cheap running watch. About halfway through my run, I heard something metallic scrape across the wood. I stopped, looked down. My keys were gone. I must have dropped them. I retraced my steps, scanning the gaps between the planks with my watch light. After a minute, I spotted them barely visible wedged beneath the boardwalk. I sighed, annoyed more than worried. There was a service ladder nearby that led down to the sand. I'd climbed under the boardwalk plenty of times as a kid. It wasn't dangerous, at least. That's what I told myself. The smell hit me first, stale salt, rot, old trash. The space beneath the boardwalk was darker than I expected. My watch barely illuminated anything beyond a few feet. I crouched where the keys had fallen. They were gone. I felt my stomach tighten. I scanned the sand around me, moving slowly, listening. That's when I heard breathing, not mine. Someone else's, close, very close. I froze. Then something brushed against my calf. I scrambled backward, slamming my shoulder into a support beam. My heart was hammering so hard it felt like it might choke me. A voice whispered my name, not loudly, like they were testing it. I didn't stay to find out who it was. I ran. I didn't stop until I was home, banging on the door, shaking so badly I could barely stand. My parents called the police. They searched under the boardwalk. Found nothing. No keys either. We changed the locks the next morning. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. 3 nights later, someone knocked on our door. Hard, urgent. I woke up before my parents did. I looked through the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door. On the welcome mat sat my keys, cleaned dry, placed neatly in the center. I slammed the door shut and locked it. We installed security cameras the next day. Nothing ever showed up on them. Years passed. I moved away. I avoided boardwalks entirely. I thought I'd outgrown the fear, until last summer. I was visiting friends near the coast. We stayed out late, drinking, walking along the beach, laughing. Around midnight, I split off from the group to head back alone. The boardwalk was empty, dead quiet. I told myself I was older now, smarter. Halfway back, I heard footsteps. I didn't turn around. I already knew they weren't behind me. They were ahead, standing, waiting. I changed direction. So did they. I ran. Every time I looked up, they were closer. Still not moving, just appearing nearer. When I reached my car, I threw myself inside and locked the doors. As I started the engine, something knocked on my window. Once, slow, deliberate. I didn't look. I floored it. I haven't been back since. I don't know who or what those people were. I don't know why the boardwalk feels like it remembers me. But sometimes, late at night, I still dream of wooden planks stretching endlessly ahead of me. And someone standing at the end waiting.